What is up, Knights of the Game Table? Alex here with the DAC.
Yes!
And we are here to talk to you today about Thousand Suns in the new Ritual of the Damned book. First off, starting off in the book, we have, they officially have Hateful Assault and Malicious Volleys. Malicious Volleys is basically Bolter Discipline.
Yeah.
And Hateful Assault is Shock Assault.
Nice.
From the normal Space Marines, which is pretty good. I think they already had this as of FAQs.
Yeah, they
but
did.
It's nice to just have it printed out somewhere.
Yeah.
But the big thing that comes with this is the fact that they now have these Cults of the Legion special rule, which is basically like their own form of chapters.
Yeah, it's like little sub-factions tucked in there.
Yeah, it's not entirely like full chapters like from Space Marines, but it's like little mini chapters.
Yeah.
They have their own Psychic Power, Warlord trait, and special relic.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah. And then we're going to go ahead and start this off. I'm going to start off with one that I really liked, and the one Dakota and I both liked, and then one that Dakota is a really big fan of.
Yes.
Yeah. But we're going to go ahead and start off with the Cult of Time, which has a Psychic Power Time Flux, which is a cat warp charge value of 5. And this allows you to return one destroyed model from a infantry unit of Thousand Suns back to the battlefield, and if you roll a 9+, then you can return D3 destroyed models this way, which is pretty good because it keeps your fairly elite forces on the battlefield and punching people in the face, or more likely probably actually shooting them, but you shoot like this.
Yeah.
And then for their Warlord trait, they have Immaterial Echo, which is in your Psychic phase. If this Warlord manifests Psychic Power with a Psychic test result of a 9+, the Warlord can attempt to do another Psychic Power this turn. You can only do one with this Warlord trait per phase, obviously, because that would get a bit ridiculous.
Because there's a lot of ways that Thousand Suns can get pluses to their casting rolls, so I could see it getting just out of hand with Magnus being sure, well, actually, I guess you couldn't give it to Magnus, but still, giving it to some sorcerer, just vomiting 10 psychic powers.
Yeah, exactly.
So yes, there's a limit.
One extra is always better because it allows you to cast that flux or that time flux power without taking up any other special slots there. Also, for their Sorcerer's Arcana or their relic, they have Hourglass of Manat, which is the first time a model with this relic is destroyed. At the end of the phase, return that model to play with D3 wounds remaining, placing as close as possible to the previous position and more than 1 inch away from enemy models, which is a pretty good
It's actually
relic to have.
Pretty great. Also, it also noticed that it doesn't require a dice roll to work or not work. It just they come back, which means you can use it to bring back something nice, like an important demon prince, or your exalted sorcerer on a disc. You can just be oh well, you killed him. Okay, well now he's back.
Yeah, just kidding, he's back.
And it's at the end of the phase, so it's not like they can keep whacking or shooting him, which is nice.
Exactly.
Gives you pretty much a whole nother phase or turn to do something.
For the next one, we have the Cult of Magic, which first off, they have their Psychic Power. Dakota, if you'd read that.
Yes. So it's Astral Blast, which is basically the smitiest smite, or a blasty smite explosion, if you would.
One could even call it a Magic Smite.
Even one could even yes. So it's a warp charge value of 6. So literally, it's smite +1.
Yeah.
And the spell itself is the target unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. Right now, it does say it's 9 inches, but remember, you have Brotherhood of Sorcerers, so you get an extra 6 inches to that. So
15.
So
Almost a smite.
Yes. So it's closest enemy unit. They suffer D3 mortal wounds. Now, what gets really fun is that each other unit within 3 of that unit suffers 1 mortal wound, which means that if your opponent has stuff all bunched up for synergy or buffs, you can just blast the one unit like you normally would, right? But then everybody within 3 just gets bipped for 1 mortal wound. So it's all those little characters standing around just have to take a mortal wound.
Yep.
I think it's nice. I like it. It's literally just smite +1, but I like it.
Yeah, no, it's pretty good bulk dealing with a lot of things ability. And also the 3 inches thing is hard in stone because the fact that the Brotherhood of Sorcerer's ability does not apply to that.
Yes.
So it is definitely, you really want to have them grouped up.
Yeah.
For sure. And then there's also the Warlord trait, Devastating Sorcery, which is when this Warlord manifests a Psychic Power, then inflicts 1 or more mortal wounds on the enemy unit. Increase the mortal wounds afflicted on that unit by 1, which obviously would be real spooky with Astral Blast.
Yeah.
Because now you're dealing 2 mortal wounds to every unit around that one unit, plus D3 plus 1 to the actual unit itself.
Yes.
So you got that brick of guys, or whatever it is, just taking a ton of mortal wounds.
Yeah, it's just, it does big old ball of splash damage, but all mortal wounds. I think it's great. Obviously, if you're taking one, you should take the other. Like if you're doing Astral Blast, you should really take the Warlord trait.
Yeah.
I think it's probably worth it.
Definitely, yeah.
Probably worth it.
Yeah.
And then you got the relic, the Arcane Focus. When a psychic test is taken for a model with this relic, add 1 to the total. Just nice. It's just useful. Adding 1 can be the difference between doing a thing and doing nothing.
Also, the difference between that smite and your slightly bigger fireball smite all of a sudden just became nothing, because if you take that,
it's functionally
a
5.
Yeah, you just balanced it out.
Yeah. So super rad.
That's
I like
really good. And now on to Dakota's favorite.
So Colton Duplicity is my pick, the one that I like the most. So you get a psychic power that's unique to them. Sorcerer's Facade, which has a warp charge value of 7, pretty easy to get off, not too difficult. And if manifested, you get to select one friendly Cult of Duplicity unit within 6, and then you basically get to pick them up and then redeploy them, basically deep strike them anywhere on the board, so outside of 9 inches. Now it's worth mentioning, so some of the units don't get the benefit from the cults, that being Zangors and like cultists. But what's interesting is pretty much everybody else gets that keyword. Oh, and I guess some special name characters like Aramin and Magnus don't.
Yeah, exactly.
But that does mean that all your other things do get this, which I think is actually really rad, because it can let you pick up really just kind of any, like a Contempt or Dread. Like you can pick up a melee Dread and then deep strike it.
Yep.
You can pick up like a shooty squad that you're worried that's going to get charged. You can pick it up, move it somewhere else. Put down rubrics on an objective that's in cover. The Warlord trait, Duplicitous Tactician, kind of actually works in conjunction with this. It's pretty great. So at the start of the first battle round, before the first turn begins, you select up to D3 Cult of Duplicity units from your army, remove them, and then set them up again following the normal deployment rules for the units. So this is pretty rad. Once again, I like this kind of stuff where you get to redeploy. It essentially lets you just select up to D3 units, and you can move from one place to another. It does say it has to follow the deployment rules for whatever you're doing. So obviously, I mean, you don't have any infiltrators anyway. So
it's got to be in your deployment zone.
So it's got to be deployment zone. But nowhere here doesn't say you couldn't put something back into deep strike if you had it. It also does mention that it works with transports. So this is just a great way to. It's like you have some stuff on a flank of the board. Your opponent is sending down stuff to line up shots. So it's like, oh, if they get first turn, they can just start laying into it. And this gives you a chance to just pick up like 2 of your Chaos Rhinos, or Chaos Land Raiders for that matter. Pick up that whole Land Raider and your Warlord, and then just scoop them to the other end of the board where they're out of line of sight. And then your opponent's, then your whole opponent is, their turn 1 is like, they do nothing.
Yeah.
Which is subtle, but surprisingly powerful if you do it right.
Exactly.
So, and their special relic being the Perfidious Tome. At the start of the battle round, roll 1d6. If a model with this relic is on the battlefield, on a roll of a 1, your opponent gains 1 command point. But on a roll of a 4 up, you gain a command point. So this one is, I'll say, this is a dicey one.
Yeah.
Because when you roll that 1, it's like, oh, you're giving an opponent a command point, which is very bad.
You won't see me taking that with my dice.
Yes,
I roll way too many ones.
Roll too many ones, so yes, maybe don't take that cult. But I mean, on a 2 or 3, nothing happens. Okay, but on a 4 or more, you get a command point. And when it comes to abilities like this is actually weirdly, it's the most risky, but also the most consistent.
Yeah. Getting a command point is getting a command point.
Yeah, it's not even get a command point, but you don't have to spend command points. It's just the start of turn. Do you get a command point?
Exactly.
It's not bad. You get a 50% chance of getting a command point.
Yeah.
And like a 17% chance of giving your opponent 1.
Yeah.
I would risk it. I would do it. Why not?
Yeah.
And I think that covers it for the cults that really like jumped out at us. That one that you liked, one that I liked, and one that we both liked.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So let's move on to the stratagems now.
I have to point this out because it frustrates me. It's good. This is a nice stratagem. All right. It's one of those things that's like great to have, especially when your army of choice doesn't get it. So 1 command point for Magister. It's pretty much you pick a character that's not your Warlord, and they get a Warlord trait. Now you're probably going, why does that make you salty? Why mention this? Everybody gets that. Well, guess what? Not everybody gets that. A lot of my Chaos Space Marines do not get that. The only other Chaos Space Marine faction that gets this or something like it is Alpha Legion.
Then there's also Infernal Fusillade, which you can use on Rubric Marines or Scarab Occult Terminators. And basically, as long as that unit does not move, they can fire rapid-fire weapons twice that turn, which is pretty spooky because obviously if you have something like Stormbolters, which already are double firing because they're on Terminators, that means you're firing them twice, so you're quadruple firing them, and a bunch of spooky stuff's going to happen. You're probably going to nuke something.
Yeah, I think that's great for ripping through just like some dudes for sure. Like,
take care of that boy squad that just respawned on your front lines.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, a 10-man Terminator squad of occult Terminators is going to dump out a lot of shots.
Yeah.
10-man squad, that's 20 shots if they're just with their bolters, which are AP -2.
Well, because they're Stormbolters,
then,
right?
Yeah, they're Stormbolters.
So
but they have the magic bullets, so they're AP2.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's 40 shots for 1 CP.
Yeah.
That'll remove a boy squad.
Isn't it 80 shots because the fact that they're 4 shots at double fire range?
Correction. 80 shots. Wait. Yeah.
Yeah.
80. Wow. So that's 80. That's 80 shots. Strength 4, AP -2, from a 10-man occult Terminator squad. That'll remove a boy squad in half.
Boy squad.
Yeah. That'll scoop up a boy squad in half.
Yeah.
Not bad. I like it.
Really spooky.
So what's another one in here that was really cool?
One that we really liked was Indomitable Foes.
Yes.
Which I believe you had a few reasons why it was really spicy.
Yeah, I just like it's real simple. It only works for Rubric Marines or Scarab Occult Terminators, but it's just 1 CP, and you do it when they're chosen as a target for an attack, right? So, like second someone says, I'm shooting at that, you just pay the 1 CP, and you get to improve your invul save by 1, which is nice because both those units have invul saves. They have at least a 5-up. And you can boost it with some psychic powers and some other things too. So just being able to pay 1 CP and then just like negate that person's like plasma gun shots or something like, oh, overcharged plasma, then you're just like, well, okay, well, 4 people.
Yeah.
Not nice. It's nice to have for 1 command point. Makes your dudes stick around longer. I like it.
Exactly. It's really good. And another one that we just noticed that's like a really quick one is Adepts of the Immaterial. Basically, if you would fail Perils the Warp for 1 CP, you go, nope, I don't fail.
You're casting a lot of stuff, which means you will peril. Like just law of averages, you will peril at some point. So being able to just burn a command point and be like, no, I don't. Yeah. Even if it's a good peril, roll a 12 on something, that's still a peril. It goes off, but it perils. So just be like, okay, now it just goes off and you cannot stop it.
Exactly.
So really good. I mean, they got it's not a ton of stratagems like the other factions, but pretty much all of these seem really nice.
Yeah, they're all really good. We're just giving you guys like the absolute top of the barrel. And that will wrap up everything that we think is really solid from the Thousand Suns portion of the Ritual of the Damned book. This is a really great book for for Dark Angels, Thousand Suns, and the Grey Knights. All of them seem to have some really crazy stuff that's going to really bring them up and hopefully make them a little more competitive.
Definitely.
And definitely make them more competitive. And thanks for watching. We hope to see you next time.